Success isn't about private jets and endless hustle. It's not about money or fame. So why do we let society convince us that it is? What if real success is about joy, about purpose, about doing work that lights you up and leaves the world a better place than where you found it? In this episode, we're redefining success on our terms and showing you how to lead from a place that actually feels like winning. Welcome to Female Founder Unplugged, the show where we cut through the noise and have a real, raw conversation about what it takes to build and scale a successful business as a female entrepreneur. I'm Lindsay White, people strategy expert, leadership coach, and fellow founder. And I know firsthand the challenges of scaling sustainably and staying connected to your passion along the way. This podcast is for ambitious women just like you, seasoned founders and CEOs navigating the challenges of leadership, team building, and sustainable growth. In each episode, we'll dive into those topics that are most important to you as a female founder. You'll hear honest, no BS conversations about building, growing, and leading a team and culture so that you can grow without losing yourself in the process. Because let's be real, entrepreneurship can feel isolating and leadership doesn't come with a roadmap. If you've ever struggled with the pressure of running a business, felt overwhelmed by growing your team, or wondered, how do I scale without sacrificing my vision and my purpose? You're in the right place. Let's get unplugged. Hello, friends. Welcome to another great episode of the Female Founder Unplugged. So excited to have you with me here today to talk about a topic that is something that comes up for me all the time. That money is not a value, it's a metric. It's a saying that I've used for years, and I thought it was about time to explore that in the podcast because as female founders, we are often sold this one version of success. It's the 6-figure month, the 7 figures to scale, the nonstop growth. But let's be honest, that version of success feels pretty empty when it's not aligned with your values. And today, what I want to do is explore what success really means for you and me. Because when you define success from the inside out, and when you are really clear about what success means just for you, you don't become a better leader. You ultimately become a more fulfilled human. And that is exactly what we're all going for. So let's start by defining success. And to me, this is the pretty hollow definition, but the dominant narrative nonetheless, that money equals success. It's everywhere. Revenue goals, follower counts, hustle culture on Instagram. Again, scale to 6 figures, scale to 7 and beyond. Do this, do that. What I've seen firsthand, and I bet you've seen this too. You've seen these people. They are wildly wealthy. They are have all sorts of fame, and they're just miserable. Like they're absolutely unhappy, and you can tell. They hit the numbers, but they feel no joy. They look at their bank account, and it doesn't fulfill them. There's no peace. There's no meaning. None of it. Because the truth is, money is a measurement. It's a metric, not a value. I'll say that again for the kids in the back. Money is a metric, not a value. And it's an important metric. Let's be clear. I believe in making money. I want every single one of you that are listening to this, me included, I want you to make money. There is nothing wrong with making a great living and having revenue goals in our business. The problem is when we start to use that metric as how we define success in our entire business and in our life, that's when it becomes problematic. It's one piece of the puzzle, but it is not the whole picture. So here's what I think. Success has to really be grounded in our values. That real success is deeply, deeply personal, and it has to reflect what you care about most. So what you want to think about is what really lights you up. What makes you feel alive? What do you want to be proud of when you look back on your life? You know, this old saying about what do you want them to write on your headstone? That's the stuff, like really thinking about What is it that I care most about in this world? So for me, family always comes at the top of the list. That is a huge value for me. My family and showing up for them and building and growing and connecting with them. I would tell you authenticity. That's another huge value for me. Being authentically who I am in every situation, showing up as my true self, not having to put the mask on anymore. Those are the things that are really measures of success for me. Do I have a great connection with my family? And am I showing up in myself in spaces where I'm invited? And it could be things like time after school with your kids or being present at the soccer game. It could be doing work that supports a cause that you believe in, right? That you create enough revenue in your business that you can truly give back in a meaningful way. Maybe it's creating opportunities for your team. So hiring young people and helping them grow their careers, like doing some of that mentorship. Maybe it's being known for your integrity and the absolute high quality work you deliver. And you do that in a way that still is very intentional, but it's not just about speed. That's values-based success. And that's just a few examples, my friends. Every single one of us is going to have multifaceted definition of success, just like a beautiful diamond, and it gets cut into all those spaces so it really sparkles. That's how we want to define success. It's got to have lots of different planes and angles. And that, my friends, is where real fulfillment actually lives. So let's just go a step deeper. Let's really think about defining our personal success. And why we want to start here is, as the founder, the CEO, and the most senior leader in our business, we got to have our poop in a group. We need to be clear on how we define our personal success so that then we can lend that to the business. That's the foundation for how we're going to really understand success in our business and, of course, help our team do the same. So what does success look like for you personally? Well, here are some really key pieces that make sense for me. Having the flexibility to take Friday afternoons off. I have a strict no assholes policy. I don't work with assholes. So doing great work with people who really want to show up, right? Really being able to find time for rest. We talked about that on the last episode, that rest is actually a really important activity. These are things that I think make a huge difference. And they don't show up on a spreadsheet. They're not going to show up in your bank account, but they really count. They really matter. And they might matter more than almost any other metric. So let's shift to now, what is the business success? How do we define that? Because, yeah, revenue matters. Listen, we're not charity organizations, right? We are in it to win it. Let's not pretend that it doesn't matter. But again, it's only one metric. Business success can and should include so much more. So it could be the number of clients who have felt real transformation. That's an important one for me. It could be the growth and development of the people on your team. So again, maybe you're like me and you love to mentor younger people in your profession and you could see them really grow. You bring them into your business and you see them growing. You know, a big, important success metric is your culture. How do you do work together? How do people fit? How do they feel fulfilled? And then another metric that I think we often don't really contemplate enough, especially when we're head down on our business, we're scaling, we're growing, it feels like a lot. Thinking about the legacy that we're leaving behind in our industry, in our community, for the families that work with our business. What's our legacy? And are you proud of what you're creating? Not just what you're earning. That's what real business success feels like. And these things don't fit on a P&L, my friends, right? It's really important that we are conscious of them. And Also, how do we help our team define the success? Because it's contagious, especially when it's shared. So thinking about what does success look like for our team? And you need to ask them. This is sounds simple, but actually you wouldn't believe how many business owners I work with. And I'm like, have you ever asked your team what success means for them? They're like, oh no, I never thought about that. So have some of these conversations. Here's some simple questions. How do you define success in your role? Let's talk that through, because what you think and what they think might have some similarities, but there could be some pretty glaring differences. You want to ask them, what part of your work gives you great pride? How does what we're building here align with what matters most to you? Do a values check with them. Because when success becomes part of your culture and it's rooted in impact and integrity, your team doesn't just follow your lead. This is where ownership comes from. They feel connected to your vision. They feel the impact in the mission. This is the kind of culture people stay for. This is how we scale our business, by the lever that is the people, the team, the talent, right? So we really need to get into this conversation with them so that we can help them we can help them articulate what success means and how their success is integral to the success of the company. So I hear from business owners all the time, oh, my team's not very accountable. I don't understand. There's no ownership. Well, because they don't feel like what they do actually is contributing to the success of themselves as an individual and to the business. And that's your job, my friends. As the most senior leader in your business, that's your job. So, this is some of the most important work that I do, is the C in the LPC methodology, culture. Because how you define success really shapes how you work, why you work, and how your team is going to show up. And when success is built on our values and our impact, it truly becomes sustainable. It's magnetic. And it becomes something your whole team wants to grow into. So if you're struggling and in that space where you're not sure about the accountability level and you don't feel like there's ownership in your team, this reconnecting and redefining what success truly means for everybody, that's what's going to get people back involved and connected to the things that matter most. All right. If this episode really resonated with you, if this is something that you need to do in your business, what I'm going to do is put a link in the show notes. We'll be sharing it on our socials as well. A link to our values-based success reflection worksheet. What this is going to do is help you, first and foremost, define what success looks like for you and for you in your business and your life, like both. And then it's also a worksheet that you could use with your team. It will help them with their definition, help you engage them in the conversation so they can feel connected to what success means for your whole organization. It could be a really valuable tool in a one-on-one, really valuable tool if you're thinking about doing some team building. Honestly, this values-based success reflection worksheet will really be a great conversation starter. And then you can totally take it from there. And it's not a one and done, my friends. This is a conversation you need to be leading in your business all the time. Okay. So I've designed this worksheet. It's going to help you do that. Awesome. All right. I love that you were with me today. Thank you again. If you know a female founder who is really struggling with what her definition of success looks like, please share this show with her. That would be amazing. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, hit that button. And if you really enjoyed the episode, leave us a review. That's really powerful in helping us share the message. So until next time, my friends, lead with heart, grow with purpose, and stay high voltage. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Female Founder Unplugged. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Connect with me on Instagram @HighVoltLeadership and send me your questions or let me know your biggest takeaway. Looking for more strategies on scaling your business, building a powerhouse team, or leading with confidence? Head over to highvoltageleadership.ca or follow me on LinkedIn for exclusive content, resources, and special offers just for listeners. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and remember, the real magic happens when you're unplugged.